Good morning everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing really well. In today's video I'm going to be making a pretty simple arch design. I'm going to be making it at home in sections and then I'm going to transport it to a venue and pop it up in the venue for a party this evening. I'd say this is probably an intermediate project, so if you're a newbie it'd be a good idea to check out a couple of my other videos which I will link down below for you, and they are a bit more in depth into how to make stacks and stuff like that, and I think that'd be a really good point for you to start at. So without any further ado, let's jump into this one. Before we start making everything then, let's just quickly run through all the equipment and the materials that I'm going to be using today. So equipment wise, it's pretty basic stuff. Scissors, you're going to want a hand pump. I use a two-way hand pump, it just makes it a lot quicker to inflate 5-inch. And if you do get any poppages when you're out on site and you haven't got a plug handy for your electric inflator, this one is also a lot quicker than using a regular hand pump. And then I've got my electric inflator. This is just a basic one, it's from Amazon, so you can pick these up. I'll link this one down below for you anyway, but I've had this a few years now and it's been quite reliable, so I'm quite pleased with the purchase of that one. Then for my materials, I have got a selection of different balloons. So I've got some 260Qs, these are diamond clear. I'd prefer to use the colour that matches with what I'm doing, but if you haven't got those then you can use diamond clear and they don't really show up when you are looking into the design, which is good. Then I have got all the colours that my client has chosen. So she has chosen silver, we have got white, and then also this is navy blue as well. So it looks quite dark and you could say it was almost black, but when it is inflated it does look like just a really dark classy blue colour. So I've got all of those in 5-inch and 11-inch. Then I've got some balloon ribbon. This is just your basic curling ribbon. I'm using white today. And then in the box as well, I've just got some bags. These are Qualatex balloon bags and these are just going to help me with transporting the balloons from the house to the venue, because I want to protect them and try not to damage them at all, and these bags just really help with that. This is a design that we've done before in the white, the sage and the gold, and I think it looks really nice in this sort of sectional format. So that's what I'm going to do today with this one. Rather than mixing all the colours in on each layer, I'm going to do it in blocks of colour and make it almost stripy, because I think that's a really nice look. We're going to start off then by making about 15 layers of balloons, and we're going to do it probably 3 layers of each colour to start with. I'm going to taper it in a little bit at the top as well. So all I'm going to do is just inflate my 2 balloons to the size that I want them to be. I'm going to let them down ever so slightly, and then I'm going to tie those into a duplicate. And then when I've got another set, what I can do is make them into a quad, and all I'm going to do that is just put them across each other and twist them together, and then I will have my quad. So I'm going to make 3 in the blue, then I'll move on to white and then silver, and then I'll just keep going like that. Design doesn't have any framework on it, we need to make a weight for it, so I'm just going to be using 2 of the 11-inch balloons, and what I'm going to do is just roll this one up and pop it inside of another one. If you've got a straw or something like that that might help you to get that inside, you could use that, but this is generally how I tend to do it. It can be a little bit fiddly, but once you've done it a few times you'll be an expert. So you can just pull that down inside. So now you've got a double layered balloon, and then all I'm going to do is just fill that balloon with water, the inside one, and tie it off, and then that'll be able to go in the bottom layer of the balloon stack, and then that will weigh that down enough, because I'm not using a framework, it just needs a little bit of extra weight on it so that it doesn't move around. We want minimal movement from the design when it's in situ in the venue. So here are 6 layers, and then I've got another 9 layers here that are all ready to be put together. And the easiest way to do this is to start off by making a stack, and then we're going to put them all together and then add in the 5-inch balloons to it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is grab one of my bags, and I'm going to just put it on the floor just to protect the bottom layer from the flooring. Then what we're going to do is grab our water weight, and we're going to put this into our first layer. So you just grab your first 4 balloons, get your water weight. All you want to do is just wrap that into the bottom of that quad and then just tie that in. So it's a pretty simple thing to do. That is in at the bottom of there like that, and you can see it holding on to that balloon there. And so the next thing is to grab the ribbon, and we're going to start putting together the stack. I'm just going to start off by winding my ribbon around my balloons. Then as I add each layer, I'm just wrapping the ribbon around in a figure of 8 between the 2 layers just to hold them together securely. Once you've got your 6th layer on the top, what you want to do is take your ribbon all the way back down through your stack to the bottom. And that just helps you to make sure everything is really well put together. And then come back up to the top. Pull it quite taut. So I've left about 2 meters of ribbon just overflowing on the end, and all I'm going to do is just reel that up and pop it into the top of my balloon stack. And then I'm going to be able to use that to put my design together when I get to the venue. You are going to want to repeat the process with your second section and just make that one up as well now. There is a rigging point, and I'm not sure how high up it is, so what I'm going to do is leave these 2 sections as they are. So they are 6 layers high, which I think is going to be sufficient. I'm not sure what their ceiling height is. And then I've got the other 3 sets here of the white ones to go around the top and taper it in. I may add another blue layer just to taper that in a little bit more. The next thing to do then is add the 5-inch into the design. I'm going to do that at home rather than there. Because it's going against a doorway, it's going to have just the front section of the arch decorated with the 5-inch. So first things first is grab some of your 260Qs. I start off with 5, and grab your scissors, fold them in half and just cut them into half. And these are all your attachment pieces now. So you're going to put a set of 3 5-inch on each end of this, and then we're going to stretch it through the design. This is pretty simple to do, and it looks really effective. So I've got those there. Let's grab these 5-inch. Now I don't have any silver 5-inch balloons because I haven't been able to get them for quite some time, so I'm just using the navy and the white, which is fine by my customer. She said she didn't really want that much silver in it. We've only got 1 section of silver, so let's cut that off. I am using Kalisan standard white today, and this one is a Qualatex balloon, and it's just called Navy. So let's just start off. What we want to do is, normally with a 2-way pump, I just give it a couple of pumps, and then I'll do another one in the same colour. And then all I do is just let them out, but I press them against myself, usually on my legs, to make them nice and round. Tie them together into a duplicate. Grab one of the opposing colours. Again, shrink it down so it's nice and round. Make it into a triple set. Pop that onto there like that. Then grab one of your 260Q pieces. You're going to want to tie that 260Q just around that 3. And then you're going to do that on the other side as well. There's our set. Now we're going to put this into our design. Here's my first set then. All I'm going to do is stretch it out. It's really stretchy, so don't be worried about breaking it or anything like that. You're going to want to just pop it into your design, pull it around, and then you can place it into the gaps. And that's what we're going to do up the front side of each of these 2 towers. I'm probably going to use, I don't know, maybe 8. I might add a few more in when I get there, but I'm going to start off like this, and I think it's going to look really, really good. These are the 3 sections then. This is the top part that's going to go on last. That's the very first section there, and then that is the midsection there. So I'm hoping that it's going to be big enough as it is. I have put the 3rd section together. I decided to do it here because I thought it just might be a bit easier. And then all I've done is just left my ribbon reel attached to this 3rd section. So then I can run the ribbon all the way through the design once everything's on. So let's get everything into some bags, and then we can go off to the venue and get it installed. I've had to adjust my seat a little bit because it's very, very full. It's not very comfortable actually. We are going to travel now for about half an hour to get there. Hopefully I'll be able to film whilst I'm in there, but if there's lots of people, because it is a golf club, it might be a little bit awkward. So I shall see what it's like when I get there, but otherwise I'll just film me putting it together and then I'll voice over it depending on how things are when I get there. So let's get going over to the venue. First thing to do upon arrival then is just get everything out of the bags and just familiarise myself with everything that I've got here for the design. This is supposed to be my rigging point, but as you can see they've put a Christmas tree here, so I've had to make a couple of changes to how I am fixing this arch up. So what I've done is just attached using ribbon through this concertina door, and what I've done is just attached it around the hinges, and then at the top I've also utilised their garland and just attached it very lightly to their fairy lights.
I did start recording when I put everything together on my phone, but unfortunately my phone memory was full and I didn't realise until I'd put everything together. But basically all I did was put my stacks on top of one another, and that additional ribbon that I'd saved and wound up in the top of each one of the stacks, I just concertinaed that round and through in a figure of 8 in exactly the same fashion that I did when I was putting the stacks together, and just made one really long stack. And then all I did was just bend that over at the top to make it into the shape of the arch across the doorway, how I wanted it to be. And then I went back to it and had a look at the gaps and stuff that were in the design and added in some more 5-inch balloons. And a couple of those navy ones had gone down. I think they were quite old balloons, so they had started to break down a little bit. So I just went through, replaced a few of those and added a few more in here and there. And then once I was happy with how it was, placed my other bubble underneath it and just filmed and took some more pictures really. Before I finished everything off, I just needed to get the double bubble gumball out of the bag and add some streamers to it and just make sure that the vinyl was pressed down, because sometimes you do find that with slight temperature changes the bubble will shrink or it will expand, and then the vinyl that we already put on it does wrinkle a little bit, but usually it's not a severe amount, so you can just run your fingers over it and just smooth it all back out again. I'm just checking my rigging points on the other side of the door and adding another one in just to pull that in a little bit more. Also, my client wants to be able to take this home at the end of the night, so I needed to be able to make sure that they could just cut it down and put it back into the bags. It's always a good idea as well, if you've got your balloons on carpet like I have here, to protect the bottoms of those balloons with one of your balloon bags. So just open it up, put it underneath. You could use a piece of cardboard as well if you haven't got a bag, but generally speaking the static from the carpet will affect the balloons, and sometimes on the bottom they can go down, so it's a good idea just to protect them if you can. All done then. Lovely venue with really nice staff actually at this place. It's Ladbroke Park Golf Club. They were so nice. They even made me a cup of tea while I'm waiting and while I was working. And normally that is really unheard of at venues. For some reason they never offer people that are working there any kind of refreshments, but this place was really nice. A cup of tea goes a long way when you're doing a balloon arch. So you've probably seen everything that I've done there. I hope it all makes sense to you, because obviously I couldn't really talk to the camera while I was in there, but I've got plans, because I haven't obviously done it yet. I'm going to speak over, what do you call that? Voiceover, that's the word. Brain fog is kicking in. It's 3 days before Christmas, as you can tell. So yeah, I'm going to do voiceover, I think, over it all, and hopefully it will make sense once I've edited it all together and it looks really nice. The lady Tina, who it was for, is for her husband's 70th birthday party this evening, which is a surprise. So she was very pleased with it. She actually sent a message to say thank you so much, it looks lovely, once we'd sent some pictures through to her. So now I've just got to go into the shop
I've got a vinyl that I need to put onto a balloon that's been ordered today. And then I'm going out for the day with my son. So that is it for now. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you have learned something from it. If you have, don't forget to subscribe. Drop me a thumbs up as well, because I'd love to see it. And also any questions or comments that you've got down below, please ask. And everything I've used in today's video will be linked down below for you if you want to see the items that I've used. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you soon for another one. Bye!